The cabin sat deep in the woods, once beautiful but now falling apart. Its wooden walls were cracked, the roof leaked whenever it rained, and the doors creaked with every touch. To the world, it was nothing more than an abandoned piece of property, but for Daniel, a homeless man, it was a chance at shelter. Carrying nothing but a torn backpack and the weight of loneliness, he stumbled upon it one cold night. Daniel had lost everything: his job, his family, and his sense of belonging. Yet, as he touched the cabin's fragile walls, he saw more than broken wood. He saw hope. With trembling hands, he decided he would fix it, not for money or recognition, but because repairing it felt like repairing a piece of himself. Little did Daniel know, the cabin wasn't abandoned. It belonged to a billionaire woman named Evelyn Carter, who owned half the city but rarely visited her countryside estate. To her, the cabin was worthless compared to her skyscrapers and penthouses. But fate was about to bring her to that very forest, where a homeless man's determination would change her view of love and life forever. Daniel began his work quietly. Using scraps he found in the forest and broken tools left behind, he patched holes in the roof, hammered loose boards, and cleaned out years of dust. Every strike of the hammer echoed his resilience. Birds watched curiously as he worked tirelessly, often skipping meals, his stomach growling while his hands kept building. Despite his ragged clothes and frail frame, Daniel poured his heart into the cabin. Each repaired wall seemed to whisper back courage to him. For the first time in years, he felt useful, like his hands could create instead of just beg. The cabin slowly transformed, becoming warmer, brighter, and alive again. Unbeknownst to him, Evelyn had decided to take a rare weekend retreat away from her corporate life. Arriving in her luxury car, she expected silence and decay, but what she saw left her speechless. From a distance, she watched Daniel, dirty and exhausted, carefully fixing her forgotten cabin. Anger flickered at first: who dared trespass on her land? But soon, curiosity and something deeper replaced it. Why would a homeless man work so hard for something that wasn't even his? Evelyn stayed hidden, observing. For the first time in her wealthy but empty life, she felt an unfamiliar tug in her heart. The next morning, Evelyn finally confronted Daniel. Dressed in her elegant coat, she looked completely out of place next to the rugged man with dirt on his face and blistered hands. "This cabin is mine," she said firmly. "Why are you here?" Daniel froze, expecting to be thrown out. But instead of fear, he spoke honestly. "I found it broken, like me. Fixing it made me feel alive again. I didn't know it belonged to you." His words, raw and unpolished, struck Evelyn deeply. She had heard countless flattering speeches in her boardrooms, but never had anyone spoken to her with such truth. There was no greed in his eyes, only sincerity. Instead of dismissing him, Evelyn surprised herself. "Then finish it," she said softly. "But this time, let me help." For the first time, Daniel smiled. Together, the billionaire and the homeless man worked side by side. Evelyn, who had never lifted more than a pen, found herself carrying wood, sweeping dust, and even laughing at her clumsy attempts. Daniel taught her patience and the joy of creating with one's own hands. She, in turn, reminded him that kindness still existed in the world. Two broken souls were unknowingly mending each other with every nail, every brushstroke. Days passed, and the cabin slowly turned into a cozy haven. Warm light filled the rooms, the fireplace crackled with life, and the scent of fresh wood filled the air. Daniel had built more than a shelter, he had built a home. Evelyn, who had lived her whole life surrounded by luxury, realized something startling. Despite all her wealth, she had never felt the warmth she now felt in that small cabin. Watching Daniel's humble pride as he admired the restored walls, she understood. Wealth wasn't about skyscrapers, jewels, or bank accounts. Real wealth was about love, kindness, and purpose. One evening, as they sat by the fire, Evelyn confessed, "I always thought love came with power and status. But you've shown me love is in giving, in building, in caring for something, or someone, with your whole heart." Daniel lowered his gaze, embarrassed. "I have nothing to give." But Evelyn smiled. "You've already given me more than anyone ever has. You taught me what love truly means." For Daniel, who once thought he was worthless, her words were like a lifeline. For Evelyn, it was the first time she felt rich in the ways that truly mattered. When the cabin was finally complete, Evelyn made a decision that shocked even herself. She offered Daniel not just money, but partnership. "Stay," she said. This cabin is ours now. And so is whatever life we build from here. Tears welled in Daniel's eyes. No one had ever offered him belonging, let alone love. The billionaire who once measured life in profits now measured it in moments shared, laughter exchanged, and love found in the unlikeliest of places. Word spread about the billionaire and the homeless man who restored a cabin together. Many mocked her, but Evelyn didn't care. For the first time, she was living, not for appearances, not for wealth, but for love. The cabin became a symbol, not of riches, but of second chances. Evelyn found a man who showed her love in its purest form. Daniel found a woman who saw beyond his rags and into his soul. Together, they built more than a cabin, they built a home, and a love story that no storm could ever tear down. And in the heart of the woods, where a homeless man once sought shelter, love quietly bloomed, proving that sometimes, the poorest man can teach the richest woman the true meaning of life.